Goed liggen.
Hi,
Yes.
so we're live. I'm
Yes.
Basu, the podcast, the official podcast of the GoalTrainers, and I'm here with Glenn Mulala,
Come
art
on.
project manager,
Yes.
and even more so, right? Explain.
Yeah, definitely. Artist manager and a marketing manager as well.
And marketing manager. So artist manager, marketing manager, and project manager. All
Exactly.
in the music industry.
Um, so I work for a label called Dirty Drip, and that's
Yeah,
where I'm a project manager. So the name speaks a little bit for itself. So I help them with their projects. Uh, I independently manage artists as well. So as an artist manager. And next to that, I also work for a online online company where we like sell motorcycle helmets. So that's a different side of managing as well. So those are like the three things that I have to keep myself busy with.
nice. So that's really like you have the different directions, but you use your qualities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
perfect, man.
yeah, it's all interesting projects where I'm working on. So yeah,
Yeah, man. And by now we really go way back. I mean, we both started
definitely crazy.
girls, and now look where it got us. I see you working in as a label manager, artist manager. It's amazing. That's why you're one of those unique individuals that I would love to have this podcast with, because I think the sharing
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate
oh man, it's straight up love. But
it.
okay, let's dive right into it. Because in these times, I mean, all with the COVID-19 and all of that, how are you
Yeah.
coping with it, man? How is business going? How are things going?
Yeah, of course. I would be lying if it wouldn't be impacting us in
Mhm.
several ways. Uh, yeah, but the thing is, of course, we already from the start we're also very online involved. So we always were working with the online things and everything. So actually, not a lot of things have changed, but we're just more intensively working on the online platform within everything. So um, within like within the music, we just trying to like reach people out with our online presence a little bit more. So you're doing more live things and more actions and more interactions with people using social media and everything. So I think that's like this are the things that we're doing like a little bit more than usual.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a little bit of the switch that you make going into live, doing some
Exactly,
extra.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Nice. And do you also involve the artists in it, like the rappers that you have under you, or is it something that
So
you?
I think it's easier if we like talking parts. So let us just talk about the label. In the label sense, yeah, we do involve them more in our online presence. For example, we we go live together, and we also like make people we work with quizzes and everything. So make people ask stuff like that, and if they have the right answer, they have a chance to like come by the label later on. So yeah, those type of things. So to make it like proactive and everything.
Nice, nice. And for example, in your own project, because you're doing things independently as well.
Yeah. So yeah, independently, yeah, the lucky thing is like what I always advise people to do is trying to work forward. So we already like collected a body of work before releasing it. So in this case, I have several artists that already are finished with projects beforehand, and right now we also like have a lot of videos in stock as well, for example. And yeah, in that case, we always always prepared to release our projects. So right now, we are busy releasing a project next week, and 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 that's like and that could be done only because we always work forward. So my advice would be is not to be like not to work just in time. Just make sure that your body of work is always ready weeks beforehand.
Nice, man. I think that's great advice for everybody to just
Definitely.
write down, put it in your memory. I mean, always do your things beforehand, because now you guys already
Exactly.
have several video clips and projects that you can just put out.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice, man. That's
And
power.
that's also how I like you guys, because you guys are very into making use out of your own body. Like, don't be dependent on just going by the gym and everything. You can do your things all the way, all day. And I've seen you guys being live and everything, so I can appreciate that type of work as well. So yeah, that's like the same intensity that I want to like put in my work as well.
Thanks, man. That's love. Appreciate
Yeah, of
it.
course,
Yeah.
definitely. You get me?
Yeah, right. I mean, we gotta switch in these times, but
Yeah, exactly.
it's
Yeah.
really interesting. So, coming from your point of view in the music industry, is that really something you always do? You make sure that beforehand you put all the pieces of the puzzle in place so that you can release. Is that something that you always do, or is that something that really comes with this situation?
Yeah, actually, it is something we usually do.
Hmm.
So it's important. It's not something what everyone does, because music has a lot to do with a lot of emotions, not just from the listeners' part, but also from the artist itself. So, but now, for example, you can see that it's very important that you also um, see how important it is that you already have work that's already been done, because um, usually I always said to people, like, it's better to have things in stocks, because you never know what might happen uh, the next day. And this and the virus is a good example of it. So that's something where I usually do, and even now we take it more seriously. So that's maybe a little bit of the different stuff like that. So we unpack the situation more intensely than usual. But yeah, I usually do like work beforehand. But right now I see why that's so important. So that's the
Yeah,
maybe the big difference in this case.
yeah, man. Nice. So and that's impressive. So you're already you made sure that you're okay, even though you didn't always
Yeah,
knew why it
definitely.
was so important to do so. Really
So yeah,
impressive.
and yeah, the big thing here is that music. People always listen to music, and I think especially during these times, music is something that will help us like be connected. And in these emotional times, everyone needs an outlet to spread their emotion and everything, and music is a good thing for it. So there's always a place, to show that in the music scene, to show that body of work.
Very true, man. Very true. Well, I'm interested in the music scene. I
Hmm.
mean, you're in it now for quite some time. I
Yeah,
think
definitely.
1, 2 years.
I think right now, 3 years already, 4 years.
3 years, really.
Hmm.
Man, time is flying. But
It's crazy.
what is one of the, or not even one? What are the things that come to mind when I ask you, what did you really get out of it? I mean, the music industry, I think, is something that a lot of people see as a lot of or famous people, a lot of show, a lot of, but
Yeah,
you are
definitely. Yeah.
actually doing the work. So, what is something that you really got out of it?
What I really got out of it, in this, in what ways? So
it in a knowledge way, like in a
oh,
lesson
okay,
way.
I got it. Okay. What I got out of it, it's yeah. The thing I got out of the music industry is how self development, definitely. So how to make the most use out of yourself, like your how can I put it good in words? So I already knew my quality, like what I could do, the way I analyze projects and everything. I was already good in it, and within the music industry, you can exploit it like in a endless way. And why I say endless, for a lot of people, it's hard if there isn't some kind of structure or everything, and they need like some kind of guidance to understand how the industry works and everything. But I'm someone that thinks like all over the place, and I'm not the type of guy that would sit like in an office and because I did think before that that's the only way of like working, like being in an office, working 9 to 5 and everything. But what I learned within the music industry is that you don't need to do that. There are a lot of ways to exploit your qualities and show your qualities and everything, and how to put yourself in the market. So the music industry just showed me how free you could be with just your own mindset and how you can form it into a business. Actually, that's actually what I got most out of the music industry if I think back at it. So yeah.
Whoa.
So
Whoa.
that being said, yeah.
So the music industry showed you how you can get the best out of your qualities and your mindset.
Exactly.
That's a big point, man.
So yeah, exactly. And it's and I'm very privileged being in the position that I'm in right now, because it definitely isn't easy. Of course, you got an opportunity to express your own way of thinking and everything, so it definitely isn't easy. And there should be like a lot of like you need to discipline yourself to put the best out of your own qualities. And it sounds like easy, like, oh, my own qualities and everything, but how often do you actually think about what you can and cannot do and everything? So you really need to respect that and be honest in all times and everything.
Oh, that's a deep one. If I go on to that one, how did you go in depth with yourself to find out what your qualities were? Or were there certain situations that really showed you that, like, all right, these are the qualities that I can work with in the music industry?
So I also always like to help people putting out the best out of themselves, like in every certain type of ways. And I think even you remember when I helped you guys with the video.
Yeah.
So and I don't necessarily see myself as a videographer or photography. I'm mostly interested in making the best out of like a smaller situation. So even if something is like something is like a small plant, okay, what can we give this plant to make this small plant a huge tree in a reasonable amount of time? So that was my way of thinking beforehand, even before the music industry, even if it didn't make me money or anything. And eventually a lot of people came through me and like, oh, your way of thinking, a way of doing, there's a lot of money involved with it if you market it in the right way, right direction. And then eventually I was thinking, okay, I like helping people. I like putting the best out of people. I like exploiting myself. But how can I put it in the best use? So I was thinking, okay, what are things that I like? And music is something that I like. I like the process of music. I like, as far as like the front hand as the back hand, I like the background story of an artist. And I was like, so I did some research on how the music industry works and everything. And that like caught me into the world actually. And yeah, so that's to answer your question. But I kind of forgot what the question was, but
it still was an amazing answer, brother.
It's an amazing answer, yeah.
The question was, how do you go in depth with yourself to know what kind of qualities you have?
So yeah, I understand. So yeah, so I definitely look at why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I always write for myself like what I want to do and what I want to become, and and that question each month or so I'm trying to like get the mode of that question. Am I what I want to be, or why am I what I want to be, and why have I chose this position that I'm in right now? And just taking those questions seriously. So in that case, so that's what I would like recommend other people that are following their dreams. So take that question that you have seriously and answer them in a serious way. Nice. So that's what I did basically.
So if I understand it right, you keep asking yourself certain questions, mostly towards why. Why do
Yeah,
I do
exactly.
this? Why am I here? Why? And with the answers, you use that to define your qualities, to define your reason, and then
Exactly. So for example, uh, what's a simple example for if you would like to become a world champion boxer, um, you could ask yourself like why would you want to be a world champion boxer? And I could say like I deserve it, and why do you deserve it? And if I don't have a proper answer, how can I answer that question properly? Do I need more training? Okay, who does that proper checking? And in what way can I do it? How can I study myself in the best certain ways to make most out of that position and stuff like that? So that's how I train myself, challenge myself, and put the most out of my qualities. So taking my questions that I have very seriously and answering them seriously, because then I'm looking towards this very seriously. So that's why I do a lot of self-studies. I read a lot of books that helps me. One of the books that helped me and motivated me a lot was
yeah,
this
but I'm
book,
interested.
48 Hour Startup is one of the
48-hour startup.
48 Hour Startup. And that book explains how to like start a business within 48 hours, like basically 2 days. And it explained me a lot on how why you should like take your dream seriously and directly putting it in reality. So if you know what you were doing, just start the next day with what you actually want to do in a serious way. We have social media, we have a lot of platforms that we can make use out of those platforms. So that's what the books learned me, and it helped me also taking my like dreamy questions serious. Like everything can be done. Like there are a lot of kind of business and stuff like that. I mean, you guys to put you guys in the spotlight again, you guys explaining other people how much you can put in what way you can put the best out of your own position and stuff like that. And then that's what the book also explained to me, and that's why and that's actually what I also explained to the artists and stuff like that. Like how can you put the best out of your own position in this case?
Yeah. Man, that's a powerful answer. Thanks for sharing the book as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I
48 of
remember
Power.
48 hours of startup. That's nice.
Yeah, you should definitely check it out.
Okay, cool. I put it on the list. I got the book list, right? So I put it on the list, and then I get a new book. I read that. I remember going further on this one. We sat down maybe 6 months ago, one of them, and we had a really good conversation. And one of the most impressive things that we talked about, or something that really stayed with me, is that you talked about the structure that you built for new artists to help them develop themselves, because you saw that within the label as an artist manager and within the music industry, that was one of the most important things to help them reach the success that they want, that you guys want.
Exactly.
Can you go just in an open way? Can you go a little bit more in depth about it? Because that helping someone else with personal development, that's what I love most in life. So explain to me a little bit about it. How did you get to that point? How did you get to the idea?
So basically, of course, in this case, with artists, it's always you have to keep in mind that it's not like a standard company, so you cannot like talk with them as in like, oh, we're now in point A, and now we're in point B, and we're C. We're not like a 9 to 5 like that. But what you can do is definitely so in my case, what I do is definitely see first what the vision is of the artist. Like, what does the artist want to be? What he wants to become? What is his goal? What is his drive? To understand that vision, and based out of that vision that the artist got, we're gonna build a foundation and to empower that vision. So, and for example, if you would be an artist and you're like, yeah, I'm an artist and I do a lot of sports things and stuff like that, and that's my motivation. I want to be the best sports rapper ever and stuff like that. Just giving you a wild example. Okay, cool. Okay, that's your vision and stuff like that. Okay. make your music, and then when that's done, let's all sit together. We have a listening session, understand the vision of you, why you made the music that you have made and stuff like that. And then if we all have like the same the same understanding in one certain point, then we're gonna start marketing it in a business type of way. Okay, this is the vision, this is what you want to show the people, and what's the best way that we are going to show the people. So that's kind of the process. So first understanding what the vision is of the artist, and based on the artist, that artist, we're gonna start building out a plan that works for the artist and stuff like that. So there isn't like so in that case, to make it like so easier for a listener. So that's like kind of like the standard terms of way. But when we sit down, it can go all the way. For example, it could be that the one artist only wants to market it in the end of the release, or some don't want to market it at all, just want the people to listen to it, and how can we make that as effective as possible. So it's kind of it's a kind of like a gray line in that sense. But we do start with what the vision is and what the artists want to become. So that's like that's firmly it.
That's like the basic.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
So that's the label, and that's what I do for the within the label, and also the artists I'm managing in the same way.
Okay. Nice, man. Start from the vision and then work from there.
Exactly.
Powerful. Okay, so in just a few minutes ago, you said something about dreams. You said something about why it's so important to follow your dreams. And also in the book that you just mentioned, it shows you why it's so important to directly take action, be proactive on your dreams. Now, let me ask you, Glenn Mulala, what is the bigger vision? What's the bigger dream? Where are you going to?
So, so definitely, I want to grow within the music industry, and eventually, what I want to do is also from a marketing point of view, because you have to understand that most of the things that we do isn't necessarily music based. It's more, it's actually personal branding, like showing people why this person is interesting, why you should listen to him, what more he has to offer than just the music itself. So we work a lot with personal branding and everything. And where I want to grow towards to is eventually helping other people in different type of situation to market themselves in the best type of way. So the whole goal of mine is to help people worldwide within marketing. So that's the goal. So that's why I'm working towards to. So that's why I try to for example, the label is a Dutch label, so that's how I can get my Dutch knowledge. The artists I manage are international artists, so they talk English and everything. So that's get my international interest, and I also work in a marketing company, and that's give me like more of the corporate view within the marketing and everything. So that's why I chose like these 3 type of jobs. And eventually, if I have the knowledge that I need, I also want to help other people to try out what I can do in their own type of way. So that's like actually the main goal in this case, to have like a view on what I'm working towards.
Straight up, man. It sounds like a good setup. I respect that a lot. You really chose your workplaces by passion, and also by the effect that they can have on you, on your development.
Definitely.
That's a big one, man. And within how many years are we going to reach this goal of international marketing support and greatness?
So the goal is from this year on, within 5 years. So hopefully in 2025 I can have my first couple of workshops in Africa. So pray for me on that one.
Power, man. I'll put in some strong visualizations,
Yeah, hopefully.
Send you that energy. But I'm sure
thanks,
it will happen.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, but I know that it will happen. I mean, with the way that you're disciplined and the way that you consistently work towards it. I mean, we've known each other for years now, and yeah, there's a big reason why we're sitting here right now, talking in this fashion. So I
Exactly,
know it will
exactly,
happen.
exactly, exactly. And of course, things could be delayed or anything, stuff like that. But the goal is firm in general. So
Yeah,
just with the artist, also things can switch up and everything. But if the goals and the vision is clear, it's definitely gonna happen if you just put your best feet into it.
yeah, nice, perfect, man. Okay, I got one last question for you. So
Yes.
um, we do this as a GoalTrainers podcast, but also from a point of view of true potential. Now, true potential, of course, is a very big given. What is your
Mm-hmm.
true potential? I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep it totally open. But if I say true potential, or if I ask you, what is your true potential? What do you envision? Then what is one of the first things that comes to mind about true potential?
True potential. Like I said before, true potential for me is taking your dream seriously.
Mm.
So, and what I mean by that, taking your dream seriously, um, because what I see a lot is that a lot of people have amazing ideas, and you know that a couple of weeks ago I saw someone starting a restaurant based out of avocados, like the avocado show, and everything
Yeah,
what they have in the restaurant is just hamburgers, fries, and all avocado based. So it can it can go a dream can go as crazy as you want it to be, of course. Um, but it's important that you take that idea or vision that you have seriously if you really want to make it happen. And what I mean by taking it seriously is respecting the feeling, respecting the knowledge that is needed for that dream to happen. So understanding it, feed on it, knowing who's the best in it, or how you can like feed it in the best possible way, and how you can develop yourself in each and every day. If I show you my books, I can show you 6 books about marketing and also the music industry. That's how serious I take it. So if you have a dream, take it seriously. It's not like a Lucy type of thing. So the people that I also look up to are the ones that take their position seriously. If you look at Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, the best. He talks about basketball in like a almost religious type of way. So that's how you can already see how seriously he takes it. Like it's not I'm just playing basketball. No, I'm playing something that I'm so inspired by, and I take it so seriously. And if you see him talking about things, a lot about the basics. Like you can already see how important the basic is. And even within managing, the best managers are the ones that only uh, are the best in managing the time management. Of course, that's like a basic firm thing. But how can you go beyond that? How can you make it religious in your type of way? So to me, to answer that question in my most feeling way is taking your dream seriously and respecting your dream. So that's basically it.
power, man. That's
Yeah, man.
that's a powerful answer. It really is. I felt that one. Taking your dreams seriously. That's true potential to me.
Hmm.
It's beautiful, man. Cool. I would say on that note, it's a powerful close off as well. If you
Hmm.
have anything to add on this, or if you have any questions, feel very free, man.
Yeah, definitely, of course. Oh, right now, like asking you questions right now.
If you have anything, and
Oh,
otherwise, yeah, man.
what is your so what is your what was the exact question that you asked me?
What do you think about true potential, or just the words? You know,
Exactly. What do you think about true potential? So I knew the question, but I didn't know like the words you used for it. But yeah.
hmm, true potential. Yeah, I think it's a very big subject, and it can go in all kinds of different ways. But I
Definitely.
see um, your true potential in creating a vision for yourself and
Hmm.
giving it your all to make it
Hmm.
happen. And I
Exactly.
think true potential is something that is endless. There's no boundary to it, because once
I
you
agree.
reach that which you feel like is your true potential, you'll be able to move forward further. You'll be able to look further. You'll be able to grow even bigger. So it's actually a way for you to constantly keep expanding. And I think with that growth and with that expansion comes comes so much value for yourself and for people around you. And I think that's the essence in true potential, and also the essence in life, because it's about striving. You know, it's about wanting to get the most out of life for yourself
Exactly.
and for people around you. So that's, yeah, man.
I completely agree. I think that's also kind of like the saying what I mean with like taking your dream seriously, like putting the most out of yourself, and respecting it a little bit, and
Exactly.
respecting a lot, even respecting it
Yeah,
a lot.
man. That's it. I mean, if you think in essence, like deep down inside, I am enough, I actually deserve this, then you'll be willing to give it your all, to just go full out on what you believe. And if you call it,
Exactly.
that's where we totally agree, and that's how you respect
Exactly.
yourself.
The only hard part about it is what I think is the hard part is that people tend to compare themselves with other people, and if they don't have the same amount of things that a person has, it looks like the person that like is doing the work isn't doing the right work, because I don't have the same thing that he has. So it can be like in a form of currency or energy or appreciation. But what I personally think is really understand your personal goal before you tend to compare yourself with somebody else, because you don't know what that other person is willing to do to reach that one goal and everything. So, so how do you look upon that? Because maybe you might as well have people within your group and thinking like, oh, I also train as much as that person, but I don't have the same thing or the same muscles. How do you look opposed to that?
First of all, I agree on your point that it is not about comparing yourself, but I have a funny story about that.
I'm curious.
Anecdote. I don't train with the GoalTrainers group that often myself.
Yeah.
We train them, right? So sometimes when a different trainer trains the group, I do join and I have a lot of fun. So a few months ago, before all of this Corona situation, I trained with the group. We had a lot of fun, worked really hard, and like in the middle of the training, I lay down, heavy breathing. You know, I was really exhausted, and this girl came up to me and she asked me, "Oh, didn't you train that much lately?" I was like,
Yeah.
I train daily. I mean, I'm still in my own structure.
Yeah.
Oh, and why are you so tired? I said, well, as I always tell you guys as well, working out with the right technique on your own level will get you the right challenge, and every training will be heavy. She thought about it for a second, and then she looked at me and she said, yeah, it's nice to know that you're also human. Without a
That's
smile or
nice.
anything.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think that's the best example, right? Even if somebody is in such a big way totally different than you, I mean, I am me, and this was a girl who was still comparing in a sense that gave her this type of view that because I train a lot, I don't get that tired or these type of things. So I tell this because I think everybody has this. I have it. I don't know about you, but I do not think that is the right way of building your growth.
I completely agree with that.
Right? I do think it's a beautiful way to model people and to look at your examples.
Of course.
But once it switches to comparing, you're bringing the negativity towards yourself.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
you're doing yourself too short. To give you an example, I like the example. Thank you for your story. And to give you an example, with the artists I manage, we work on marketing then a lot. So what artists tend to do a lot is comparing themselves with other artists, because you see everything. You can see the streamings and views and everything, like, okay, why the views work for him or not. But what's important in this case is you having people that are actually standing behind your body of work. So I found that more interesting. So you can have a million streamings and everything, but as soon as you have like a show and it isn't sold out, or you only have like 30 people within your show, then it doesn't consent with the people that are listening to your music and stuff like that. And what you want to have is people that actually are standing behind the art that you are making. So that's why I always tell the artists, like, do just be you and show the most out of your own art in this case. Because I know a lot of artists that like I said, have a lot of like streamings, but not don't sell out a show. And I know a lot of that don't have a lot of streamings, but sell out a show like crazy, and people want to be more a part of it, or want to buy their merch because they believe in the person, in their art and stuff like that. So I find it very important that you always stand behind the things that you do, and that's why it's also important that you create your own goals. And that's also, you know, even it's not that hard to read people, especially within music and stuff like that. So I think it's very important to stay true to yourself, understanding yourself, and like I said, respecting your dream, vision, everything, and also respecting the process within it and everything. And don't be like, you know, hasty and everything. Like, oh, this person has this much streaming. Oh, I'm not working well and everything. No, respect the process, and it's gonna happen.
Brother.
Yeah, that was my last story, man.
I feel that, man. I really feel that, and I think actually it's the most powerful way of closing this podcast as well. Respect yourself, respect the process, stay true to yourself, and
Definitely,
it'll.
100%. Yeah, man. Yeah, that is, yeah, definitely it. You said it in the best way, man.
Perfect. Bro, I really, really want to thank you for this interview. Glenn Mulala, you're an
Thank you
inspiration.
for involving me, man.
It's only love, man. For now, this interview will be posted, or the podcast will be posted in a few weeks. Of course, I'll
Oh,
tell you
dope.
all about it, and there are so many more inspiring people on this site.
That's dope. That's dope.
But for now, thank you a lot, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. Love.
Peace.